anointing on this one, Beethoven. Come on, go with me. Come on over tonight. That's what he said in this Bible was read. That's what he said in this Bible was read. You heard me. Come on, go with me. Come on over tonight. That's what he said in this Bible was read. That's what he said in this Bible was read. You heard me. I can hear him calling. I can feel it in the air. In the light of God, home being prepared. No longer scared of the afterlife, cause I got a spot waiting up in paradise. The Bible tells us Jesus coming back, we're under attack. Christians stay on feet like cats. Call me Gladys Knight, I'm on that midnight train from here to heaven, although it may seem strange. I hop in the prayer closet, talking with my papa, trying to join them. Those opposed gotta drop her. I rhyme proper, not foolishness. Who the devil really think that he fooling with? I'm a man of God, so I'm on with the breastplate of righteousness. So I set the record straight. Jesus, the key to ministry. And the world is so lost, so go with me. Straight to Jesus, y'all. Come on over tonight. That's what he said in this Bible was read. That's what he said in this Bible was read. You heard me? Come on, go with me. Come on over tonight. That's what he said in this Bible was read. That's what he said in this Bible was read. You heard me? I know one thing, I wasn't worth it. He saw me fit to see me more than worthless. I used to roll with gangs on I preserved it, but Jesus is now who I'm working. Wanna go with him to spread the gospel, and make the devil mad angel like fossil. The fight that strengthens me, all is possible. Fight that lengthens double, all is possible. My raps ain't feasible without the holy in it, and they are reasonable with the Holy Spirit. For my time on the earth, I see Christly riches, because once in my heart he applied those stitches. Brought to my attention, the world is real cruel. Protection is the word of God, that's my crown jewel. My spirit is aligned and the devil decline. I stay connected to God, like my skull to my spine. Let's go. Come on, go with me. Come on over tonight. That's what he said in this Bible was read. That's what he said in this Bible was read. You heard me? Come on, go with me. Come on over tonight. That's what he said in this Bible was read. That's what he said in this Bible was read. You heard me?
Come go with me, everybody gather round and see, while I tell the goodness of the one who comes to see. There's a place I can go to meet Jehovah's face, a place where all my fears and all my problems are erased, a place of refuge with my trusted King, he rescues me. His words of promise is the only thing I wanna breathe. All glory to Jesus Christ, the one who conquered death. In time of greatest need, your glory never left. He gives me strength in prayer, and I have faith in the word when it's too much to bear. You turn my mountains to dirt. He gives me light when I'm lost. He gives me all that I got. He was crucified on the cross, and all my sins he forgot. Come go with me, everybody gather round and see. In the midst of storms, to put your mind in perfect peace. He paid the cost to be the boss when he died. Our sins he brought, now let our lives talk to talk and walk it out like Jesus walked.
Come on, go with me. Come on over tonight. That's what he said in this Bible was read. That's what he said in this Bible was read. You heard me? Come on, go with me. Come on over tonight. That's what he said in this Bible was read. That's what he said in this Bible was read. You heard me? Come on, go with me. Yo, 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 yo. Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. Disciple Nation, what is happening? I want to welcome you all to another episode of Diciple Talks. I am your gracious and humble host, Esco the Disciple, and I will be kicking it with you guys for a little bit. This is season 4, episode 12 of my podcast. And before I get too ahead of myself, as I do each and every week, man, let me just say this. God is good, man.
not only God is good, but God is the greatest. Man, I have to say that each and every single week, man. I have to. I got to remind myself sometimes, man. Just as much as I'm reminding you all, I got to speak to myself sometimes as well, man. In spite of all that's going on, man, God is still good. And he's going to continue to be good. And he's most certainly worthy of all praises that he is. How to say that, man. So important to remind us of that. Man, when I tell y'all, man, your boy had a week this week, man. A lot of life changes, a lot of things going on, man. But you know what? At the end of the day, you wake up. I'm gonna say that again. If you wake up with another opportunity to address your issues, if you wake up with another opportunity to get it right, man, you're still blessed. You are blessed. And I know, you probably were saying, well, you don't know I got X, Y, and Z going on. I got this going on. I got that going on. That's very much so true. But you're still here to complain about it. And I don't want to highlight the complaint portion of it, but the fact that you are still here to complain about it. That means you have another opportunity to address whatever the issue is that you got going on. So yeah, you might feel a way about your issues, and yeah, you might, because at the end of the day, let's face it, we're human. So the way that you process things, or the way that you go about your business, or any kind of news that you get, or what have you, you are entitled to feel and process that however you see fit. And don't dare allow another man or another woman on this earth to tell you that you are wrong for feeling the way that you feel, or B, that you should not feel the way that you feel. One of the unique things about each and every one of us, and how God was so gracious, is that we all have different DNA. So that means that the way that you handle your business, the way that you go about things, is going to be unique to you. Of all the billions and billions of people in the world, man, God still saw fit to create a you, man. So therefore, you have a right, it is your right to pretty much deal with life how you see fit. And here's the thing, man. And while I'm kind of in that space, let me just say this. The only person that has to deal with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 366 days a year when it's a leap year, is you. So people come, people go. You got people that you think are going to be there forever, and then they, decide for whatever reason that they don't want to rock with you. It's okay. It's okay. You wake up the next day and you go on with your life. You go on with your life, man. What we not gonna do is sit there and just allow any one person or any one situation to deter us from whatever path it is that God has us on, man. Regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's going on in your life, regardless of who comes or who goes or what have you, you still have a path that has been already predestined for you. And you still got to walk that path regardless of who's there and who's not. Regardless of who's talking about you behind your back. Regardless of who's talking to you to your face or what have you. Regardless of who, don't mean you any good. You still got to do you. So at the end of the day, man, that's all that matters, is doing you. Doing you, man. That's what we gonna do. We gonna continue to do us. That's what we gonna do. That's what we gonna do, man. Let's not focusing on who's not there, who ain't there, who won't rock with you no more. We not focused on that, man. At the end of the day, you shall continue to do what it is that you see fit and keep it pushing. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all, man. And it's funny because I say that, but it wasn't always my thought process to feel that. I used to be, well, why is it that such and such is no longer there? Or why they stopped talking to me? Or why they not there for me when I actually need them to be? Because it's real when everything is going good and, everybody's laughing, smiling, joking, or what have you, it's easy for somebody to be there then. But when stuff hits the fan, when you are in the middle of the crisis, when you are in the storm and the ship is rocking from side to side on the verge of tipping over, when you're flying on that plane and it's turbulent, who's going to actually still ride with you? Who's going to ride with you? Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to count on everybody to be there always. So what you do, you just keep it pushing, man. You keep it pushing. That's it. So I said all that to say this, man. Don't worry about who's there, who's not there. Keep walking regardless, with your head held high, shoulders square, because you got something you got to do. You were put on this earth for a purpose, and even if you don't necessarily know what that purpose is in the moment, keep walking anyway. I just feel like in due time, you will always find whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. Once you figure it out, walk in it. Don't allow any situation to stop you from walking in your purpose. And that's something that I had to tell. That's something I had to tell myself, honestly. Keep walking regardless. Regardless of who doesn't show up for you. Regardless of who's not there when you need them to be. Regardless of who you thought was going to be there, but for whatever reason decided not to be there. You continue to go on anyhow. You continue to go on anyhow. That's what we're doing. That's what we are doing in this season. We're not worrying about who's not showing up. We're going to continue to go forth anyhow. And at the end of the day, you've been blessed with life. You've been blessed with the breath of life. So you just continue to deal with whatever it is that you got going on. You deal with it and you keep going. You keep going. So that is my opening statement, short and to the point today. Let me go ahead and bring myself. Where am I? Here I am. What is happening? So a couple of quick housekeeping items I want to go ahead and share with you guys. So those of you that are following me on Facebook and YouTube, you saw that I popped in on a podcast last Monday, the Galveston podcast with my good folk out in Galveston, Texas. Those are my dogs and I support them. So that is something that is going to be going on a recurring basis every Monday night. So if you can, definitely tune in to the good folks over there on the Galveston podcast. I am going to be on there tomorrow evening. I believe it's starting at, I want to say 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So if you can, definitely come out and support Grown Man Mondays. I had such a good time. My sis Humble was clowning me, saying, he was like, oh, Esco is all dignified on Sundays, but on Mondays he show out. Yeah, but it was a good time with my bros, man. It's always good when you have men that can come and just chop it up and, without fear of judgment or anything like that. So I really enjoyed it. So I am going to be on there tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So if you are following me, hit the subscribe to my channel, and of course, any notification that you might get. And definitely check us out on Grown Man Mondays over at the Galveston podcast. Yeah, no, I was shocked too. I was shocked on a Monday, on a school night. I was out on a school night. I was out on a school night, but yeah, it's all good though. So definitely check us out on tomorrow. I am going to broadcast that on my channel as well as their channel as well. So definitely check us out if you're following me on YouTube and Facebook. Also, as you guys see the banner scrolling on the screen, if you have not subscribed to my podcast, please feel free to do so. It is Diciple Talks, streaming on all major podcast networks, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere that you get your podcasts, you can subscribe to me there. Would love to have you guys on there. Of course, if you are not the type of person that likes video, but just likes audio, You can definitely check me out there as well. Also, if there's anyone that is looking to get in touch with me, Humble, if you will be so kind as to drop this in the chat. I have an email address, Diciple_Talks. That is DICIPLE_TALKS at yahoo.com. So if there's anyone that is looking to get in touch with me to partner with me on my show or anything that you got going on, definitely check me out or shoot me an email there as well. If there's anyone that is looking to be a blessing to the show, first and foremost, as I say each and every single week, please continue to keep me lifted in prayer. I am never above the genuine prayer of people, especially in this season. When I tell you your boy is under attack, your boy is under attack. But you know what? I'm going to keep pushing anyhow, regardless, because I have an assignment that I'm going to continue to carry out. And I take that assignment very serious. So I'm going to continue to go forward anyhow on this journey and being able to be an encourager and uplifter and that sort of thing. So definitely pray for me. And I don't want anybody to pray on me, PREY, but definitely genuinely pray, PRAY, for me. I definitely would appreciate that as well. Also, if there's anyone looking to be a monetary blessing to the show, my gracious Wrench Humble dropped that there, so you can definitely shoot me a Cash App if you so choose to do so. Please remember that I am not soliciting any funds. I'm not out here begging. I'm not locking the doors and saying I'm not going to leave until I get X amount of money or anything like that. But if you feel generous and you want to donate something to your boy, feel free to do so. And hopefully, that seed that you plant into me will produce a wonderful harvest for you. So if you feel free to do so or you felt led to do so, it is there on the screen for you to do so. All right. I think that is all of my announcements. So today, you guys, I have a special guest that is going to be coming in and kicking it with Diciple Nation. I just wanted to make sure that my guest is ready. If my guest can give me a head nod, a yes, a no, or something. Okay. So I am going to introduce to you all one of my followers on Instagram who has definitely inspired me since I came in contact with her. She is awesome. She is, I feel like she has a nurturing spirit. She's a kindred spirit, and she is a motivator in her own way. She's not with the rah, 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 but the words that she speaks, I feel like are very timely. And I want to go ahead and just have her to bless Diciple Nation at this time. So I'm going to bring up to the stage. Let me see if I can do this right. There we go. So if you will be so kind as to just introduce yourself to the good folks at Diciple Nation and let us know a little bit about you.
Oh, sure. You're so kind. You're so sweet. I feel like you're a blessing. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Amee. It rhymes with yummy, and it means unconditional love in Sanskrit. And I'm an artist. I'm a poet. I'm not a planner. Whatever I share kind of just, it just fountains out. I don't intentionally think about anything. It sort of just comes out. And I was drawn to your Instagram because I found you to be, you're a very solid guy. Like, you show up dependably, you show up encouraging, you show up kind. And I think that's what the world needs right now. Like that spirit of service. And that is so inspiring. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And I don't think she's really given herself enough credit, but again, I wouldn't really expect her to, because you can definitely tell she comes from a place of humility. And also I was drawn to her because, again, every time I ran across a video of hers, it was just so encouraging. And like the way, it's not always necessarily what you say, but how you say it. People can say the same thing 10 different ways and you can get 10 different reactions out of it. But every time I've ever had her or ran across one of her poem videos, it was like, wow. And then just the way that she expresses herself is just incredible. So, I mean, I definitely appreciate you joining me on this show, this episode. So I just want to, I'm gonna just ask you a couple of quick questions about what it is that you do, and then we'll kind of bounce back and forth on some things. So obviously, the thing that first drew me to your Instagram was your poem. So what inspired you to become a poet, if you will?
I feel like it chose me. Because so it's really interesting. I think like many of us on Earth, could I share a poem?
Absolutely. Please
Okay.
do. Please do.
So this is so random,
Mhm.
but when you were talking about how people can say things 10 different ways, I don't know, did I say that poem on Instagram? I can't recall. If
Probably
not,
so. Yeah.
I actually wrote something about that.
Okay.
Let me find it. It was something about art, looking at things, and then I'll tell you
Okay.
how I came about it. But I'm like, as you can see, I'm just very inspired.
Okay. That's
Okay. So this poem, it's called Standout Soul. 10 people aren't the same thing, but amongst their contributions, there's one that doesn't face retribution and really blings. Each one has his or her story for what led him or her. But this one standout person simply said, I don't know. I just enjoy what I do because it's what my soul craves to do. And somehow the love shines through. Art is really the bold expression on heart. There are artists, then there are heartists, where love really runs through the veins of their souls.
I like that line. There are artists and then there are artists. So can you can you just kind of explain the poem and then kind of talk about how you actually got into doing your poetry, if you will?
So I think like you're a artist, like you just express from your heart. And what I found is like artists, no matter what their religious beliefs are or anything, I think spiritually artists, they align. It's like we kind of speak the same language where we're open, we're loving, we know the concept. And usually when you're open and you're loving, there's like this exchange of like thoughts, of inspiration. And like sometimes it's like I think in that world of social media and Instagram, we always see people like, I don't know, some things are just so copy and paste, like self-care, eat your veggies, take your steps, and then you see that like 10 different reels, the same message. But then like there's someone that experiences something different and they're really just genuinely sharing from their heart. Like, and I think what else is interesting too is when I see people like make art or and like you get all these, well, I do, like I feel like I have an inner marketer at heart, but I don't, so like I'm not intrigued with doing marketing, but I still keep on the lookout and I appreciate a good advertisement. And so I constantly get advertisements for art classes. But I think a lot of times what's lacking about it is no one gets back into the like spirit of things. And like what I like, and I was really drawn to like the podcast you had sent me to listen to what you were talking about, is you totally get it. Like there's an outer world and then there's an inner world. And I think a lot of times we get down on our hopes. We get down on, we just get down because we're so focused and we're intentional and forcing and creating something to happen. And then these challenges happen. And when these challenges happen, it really like makes us, you know, just stop back. And I think that's where like the magic happens. And so to get back to what inspired me to get into poetry was I'm of the Indian culture, and like in the Indian culture, like what I've heard about Catholicism or some other religions where like there's like religious guilt that really stems to people. But like for in the Indian culture, especially for people that have migrated to the US, we have like societal guilt, you know, like and I know other people have something similar. I'm just expressing from what I think is relatable, you know? And so I like in my journey, I've had a lot of setbacks, like a lot of situations where it was like I was just down on my luck, and it was like when we've experienced enough trauma where we become people pleasers, and to the extent where you don't know yourself, you know, like you're just doing the copy and paste thing versus really listening to like what's happening in the inside world. And like when the inside world's pretty chaotic, no one's really taking the time to no one's making space or time to unravel the chaos. So I think what happens is the universe or God, like whatever we believe in, there's like that active spiritual energy or force that like really forces you to stop and pay attention to what's happening. And so in my journey, there's a point in my life where everything was kind of falling apart, and there were moments in life where it felt really lonely, where I didn't have real friends, you know, I didn't have real support. And like no matter how many times I'd please someone or anything like that, it's like it would just hurt. Like I remember living in New York City, and I like your Chicago hat, I noticed.
What happened? Because I know you from the area.
That's so thoughtful. And like I remember being in working and living in New York City, and there's a point of being and feeling so lonely despite millions of people around you. And I remember one day being like, I just really wish I had a friend right now. And it was like this aching feeling that just wouldn't go away. And it's like I would try to ignore it with like trying to go to work, try to do this, try to do that, and while combating other situations in other states. And like I remember one day a friend that I had met in a spiritual group showed up out of the train, and she was like, oh hi, do you want to come along, do you want to come with me to this place we're going? And like I think to this day she still doesn't know how impactful that was. And I think even though I appreciated it, I mentally didn't know how important friendship is. And so there are various circumstances that led me back home to Illinois, and then making my way up to Chicago. And when I was in Chicago, like, and it was like, I was just like, it was like, you know, when so many things happen to your life and there's like a patchwork quilt of all the pieces of yourself and you're just trying to keep it together. And in Chicago, it all fell apart. Like, it just unraveled. I didn't have a job because I had gotten laid off from one. I didn't have a car. I was lucky enough to have a very sweet fiance who I'm still with. And like a few friends that were very loving and encouraging, and people who I would societally seem to have received help from or anything like that. I didn't, you know? And so that was like really, really depressing. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my identity. Everything was kind of just being really stripped away. But I was really fortunate to have like a spiritual mentor and a spiritual best friend. And he would meet with me monthly no matter what. Like, he never judged me. Like, he was just unconditionally loving, because in those moments, like when we're down and we're like, what will this person say? What will that person say? All of these things where I just felt so much shame. And the thing that kind of healed me, and I wonder if you can relate, where when you're creating your songs, your music, your verses, where it's like when you're saying them, you find out the most important listener is yourself. Right? Like, you're the most important listener. It's not the want and desire for, and like I think we often forget that, because like I'm always wanting love, and I'm always wanting I'm like wanting all this support from the outside world. And like, I think the want and the desire and the expectation does the complete opposite. And then when you're writing or when you're creating art, you kind of realize, oh, you know, I needed to listen to that. I needed to listen to what I'm feeling and express it. And like, it doesn't mean I have to share it to the world, because I prefer to just share the more positive and encouraging stuff. And so my 87-year-old bestie at the time, unfortunately, COVID took his last breath. So he passed away at 94, but he was like a really amazing and encouraging spiritual mentor. And like one day he just encouraged me to explore art and poetry, and I didn't have any prior experience. So I just started writing, and when I just started writing, all of this stuff flew out. And I also, it kind of helped me out of depression, because he was really about love and about service. And I wasn't so much about love and service at the time, because I grew up in a society that was like very expectation oriented and very like, you do this for me, I do this for you. Like, you know, tit for tat a little bit. And even though that wasn't my spirit, that was like my mental, my societal identity that I was fighting, and that wasn't me. And so it was just really important for all of it to fall apart and come back to me. And it was like a very vulnerable and scary experience, because I'm like, what's everyone gonna think? I'm like an artist, I'm a poet, I'm I'm not whatever. And like a lot of, and even after 1,000 poems, I've probably written over 5,000 by now, and they're all inspired from love because I was curious about love. And so when I was curious about love, it made me wonder what the practice is like especially like that spiritual love, and then like experiencing that spiritual love with one another. Like a friend of mine would say that you never know what God's wearing today, you know, like you don't know how that spirit kind of just shows up. And so I do my best to remember that. Sometimes, of course, we're all challenged with being like, man, what costume are you wearing today?
Yeah.
It's a lot, but I think I would say so. The curiosity about love and like the importance of it with connection and friendship, I think it's really interesting that no one really like emphasizes it or talks about it. And usually people who are of our nature are very shy, and we very much sit back, and I'm actually extremely shy.
So believe it or not.
Right?
Yeah.
I give you a fist pump with that. Like, because like the world needs all the shy people to come out and share their art, because these narcissists are taking over and they don't know what they're doing, and then all these other people that are lost are following all these weird steps. But when it comes down to it, people don't need a lecture. They just need a friend. And so like I think the inspiration of having a friend, even if it's like one good friend, that's just so important. So when I show up, I just want to be a friend.
Wow.
I just want to be a friend. So, and like, you know, the way I found you is my little service, or I call it an Instagram service, is just stamping hearts on all these different Instagram profiles, or whoever comes up without intention that you see something good, like just share some love. And then if they respond back, it's like, oh, they want to connect, they want to be a friend, you know. And sometimes they don't. It's not important if they follow or don't follow. It's just being loving, and it's just being kind, and just being a friend, you know. Like, I don't know, but
You just let me tell you something. I just was just sitting back and just allowing you to just really say all of that. And you said so many different jewels just now that I'm just in awe. Like, one of the things that you said that I really liked, and I think I'm actually gonna put it up, that Humble put in, the fall apart was necessary for the comeback. So a lot of the times we have to fall apart in order for us to be built up the way that we should be. And I know a lot of people focus on the aspect of falling apart or things crumbling, but a lot of the times that's necessary for us to have that period of that downtime, that time of chaos, for lack of a better term, because ultimately you find out a lot about yourself and what you need in the midst of that chaos. Another thing that you said that I really liked, and I'm gonna scroll back up to it and actually posted it, was the most important person that needs to hear your messages is yourself. In my opening statement, I made a statement. The only person that has to deal with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is you. So you have to make sure that you are right within yourself first and foremost. And if that takes you writing poems, if that takes you creating a song, drawing, whatever it is, however it is that you need to get that outlet out of, or to make sense of whatever it is that you're going through, do it, because you have to ultimately make sure you have a duty to yourself to make sure that you are right within yourself, right? Lauren Hill, I always
I was
reference
just thinking of her in that song.
Lauren
Yes.
Hill, that song, "How You Gonna Live When You Ain't Right Within."
Yeah.
So, and that lyric, that one bar that she said is so true. Like, you have to make sure at the end of the day that you are right within yourself. You can't be anything for anyone else if you're not right within yourself. And it's not selfish to do that, but it is necessary for you to do that. And anyone that tells you, oh, it's selfish for you to take care of yourself, they are sadly mistaken, I would say. So I really appreciate you kind of sharing what you did, because it's important for us to realize that we do have a duty to make sure that we take care of ourselves before we can take care of anyone else.
Yes.
And so I'm very thankful for what you shared, because I think the point that you drive home about really seeking out oneself, regardless of what you got going on, regardless of how bad it might seem, really taking the time to figure out what it is that you need to learn from the chaotic moments that are brought your way. Ultimately, a lot of the times people focus so much on what's going on instead of focusing on what is it that I need to learn from what's going on. And I think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think what you were saying is that, you had all these things going on and you were depressed, but it was through those trying times that you really figured out what it was that you were supposed to be doing. And really, writing for you, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just kind of going based off of what you said, but writing for you was a sort of therapy. And then if others also get something from it, great. But first and foremost, you have a duty to yourself to write, make sense of this world that we live in based upon what you write. And then, then you can share it with others, and they may get something from it too. But first and foremost, you're really writing a letter from yourself to yourself. And again, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
It's interesting because like with the whole, how are you going to live if you're not right within, right? Like that you just said. I was literally thinking of that song. we're so in sync. And what I think is really interesting is oftentimes when we're like there's the mind, and then there's like the body, and then there's like the spirit self. And like in my spiritual beliefs and in my experience from where these poems are trickling from, the soul resides behind the seat of your eyes. And so, and behind your eyes, like, where do you look from? Where do you see? Like, we observe from behind there. And so I sometimes feel like I'm a perched little bird just watching it come out. So it's like when you're watching it come out, and when you create art, you're not judging yourself. Like, you could have really weird, harsh thoughts or anything like that, and like you're just, because the mind is crazy, everyone has weird thoughts. And like when we're interacting in this world, of course we have to be more discerning of our thoughts. And usually I think judgment and discerning, which my spiritual mentor had written a book or something, and I read it, and he was talking about how discernment and intelligence should be used for your work, not on people. And oftentimes we use it on people. And yeah, when you operate life, like we're discerning where we have to go or anything like that. But I found that the stronger, like, how we treat ourselves is how others treat us. And like if we're if we're being so judgmental and harsh with ourselves, that's kind of like the experience we get in this world, versus if we're being more forgiving with others and others and ourselves, that's sort of the experience we also encounter. And so and love is connected to, I think, forgiveness, acceptance, and all of that. And every time we're challenged in situations, and like you just want to argue and you just want to fight, and sometimes it's our karma. Like we have to get the lawyer, we have to do the thing where it's like necessary, and other times it's just stepping back and just letting and trusting the God or universe take care of it. And that's what I found, instead of just like, sometimes I name the thoughts or the streams in my head, and one of them I have called like Petty Betty and Judge Judy, and and so like sometimes like when I encounter someone that's like not the most pleasant person to work with, like my Petty Betty and Judge Judy come into the defense. But I'm not skilled in argument, I'm skilled in love, and I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. So I'm like, why do I have to take care of it? And sometimes I found that like you do your best, and God in the universe will do the rest.
That's it right there. Do your best, and God will take care of the rest. I love that. And I really like what you said about, you're not an arguer, you're not a fighter, but you're a lover. I think being skilled in love, honestly, if more people were skilled in love, this world would be a better place. You wouldn't have a lot of the bickering and the back and forth and the name calling and cyberbullying and all that stuff. Like, if we were more kind to one another, this world will be such a better place. Unfortunately, that's not the reality that we live in. You have mean people. You have people whose sole purpose in life is to cause discord. We have those things, but that's why we need people like you who are not versed in fighting and not versed in ill will, but are versed in love. Kill them with kindness. There's a verse in the Bible that says, if I resist thee, then they will flee. So eventually, if you are so kind to them, they're gonna get so upset about it that they're gonna go away, or they'll come over to your side and they'll be like, you know what, in the grand scheme of things, maybe I shouldn't have been that way towards them because they didn't deserve it. And I know.
Have you noticed in circumstances like geared towards what you described, that when you let go of the expectation, then you've experienced it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's really interesting, because it's so true. Where I would love to hear like some of your experiences with that.
I would say this for me personally. I'm 42 years old, right? So I'm not saying that I'm old, but I'm not a teenager. So I have lived long enough to have experienced both sides of the spectrum, right? So there was a time in my life when I wanted to fight my way out of everything. I wanted to, the way that I would combat anyone that even looked at me funny or anything like that was with harsh tongue or even physical violence at one point. But as you mature and as you go through life, you realize that doing something, having an eye for an eye mentality, is, at the end of the day, it doesn't really benefit anyone, because the person was wrong for hurting you, and then you were wrong for retaliating against them. So now everybody is wrong, and they say two wrongs don't make it right. Whereas if I just took a step back and like, you know what, you got it. If you want to say whatever you want to say about me, fine. Now, I will defend myself if someone tries to physically harm me, because I don't want anybody to try to hurt my body. But if your way of trying to hurt me is to say things or to call me out my name or, that sort of thing, okay, that's fine. You got it. And I'm not going to retaliate. I might respond once, maybe even twice, but after that, there's two places that I'm not going, back or forth with anybody. I'm not going back and forth with anybody. So I have come to the point in my life where I want to be, for however long that I have left on this earth, I want to live as peaceful as possible. And so for me, walking away from conflict, although people might be like, oh, they punked you or what have you, that's fine. Because I still have my self-dignity. And the way that I think about myself ultimately is going to matter far more than what anybody else thinks of me. And so that's kind of like my viewpoint on it these days. And it took a lot of self-work, it took a lot of self-care and really sitting within myself to get to that point. But when you care enough about yourself to do the work on yourself for yourself, the results are going to be far greater than anything that anybody else can do for you. And so that's really my thought process on it. And just thinking about, at the end of the day, is this interaction that I am going to engage in, is it going to further my peace or is it going to take me away from my peace? That's a very simple question that I ask myself. And if it's the latter, then I'm going to exit stage left. I'm out of here. But if it's something that's going to promote my peace, help me further develop my peace, I can engage in it. That's why I don't mind having conversations with people from all different walks of life. Because the way that I think is not the end all be all, or my ideologies, my religion is not, I have my beliefs and my things that I believe in, but that doesn't mean that I can't learn from somebody from a different culture. You're of Indian culture, and I don't have a lot of experience with that. So just you speaking on how your culture does things and what have you, I can learn from you, and I can grow, my own beliefs based upon something that you teach me. I think a lot of times we as people, we have our thoughts, and our thoughts are that's it. But we can learn from each other regardless of what our differences are, as long as we are not being mean towards each other, and as long as we are operating in love, we can learn from each other. And that's one of the beautiful things I love about interactions like this. And then just really with people in general, is that you can learn a lot about different cultures, and that can help strengthen your own beliefs. If there's something that somebody does that you won't do, okay, that's fine. But don't shun them or don't look down upon them just because they think differently, they sound differently, they look differently. Like, don't shun that. If it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. I like peppermint tea. You might like green tea. That doesn't mean that I'm going to spit in your tea because I don't like the tea that you're drinking. Right. And I know that's kind of like a silly example, but that's kind of like how my mind works is at this point. Yeah.
Silly is great. I think the world needs silly and humor, like I think it's all about it. And what's interesting, when the simple question you ask yourself with what makes you, like, brings you closer to peace and what doesn't. I think a year in my journey, after the little depression and writing poems and stuff like that, was what brings me closer to love and what doesn't. And my spiritual mentor, like, it was, he would say, what brings you closer to spirituality, what doesn't. And so even the different jobs and stuff that I've held, to me, spirituality is very, very important. So if it's not that important to me to reach, like, and a lot of times too, with being in Indian culture, we're very materialistic, and like our minds programmed, and like where I grew up, and being around it felt like a struggle sometimes. And when it felt like a struggle, there's like this strong scarcity mindset that I've had to work a very long time to let it go and just trust the universe. And I found that like when I corrected myself, or like when my mind was more judgmental, it improved like my spirit connection to God. And I found that when and like recently I've discovered how our nervous system and our body holds a lot of memories, and being like a very sensitive person, we take on a lot of things, and when we care so much, we also take on the burdens of others, even if we're mentally like, I'm not going to think about it. Your body remembers, and it keeps reminding you. And then there's actually amazing things you can do to like communicate with your body, to be like, okay, let go of that, give it to God, or just surrender it. And so what I love about love is that it's just so universal, and I think it's like the conversation piece. Like it's not our job to decide who gets to go to the pearly gates, or whatever version of paradise or whatever. Our job is to be an extension of love and doing the best that we can. Like one of my favorite quotes is that Mother Teresa quote where she talks about at the end of like at the end, it's not between you and them, like it's between you and God. I'm paraphrasing it badly. She says it far better. But that was like the meaning that I took with me. And like, I think those little things are important. And like when you also reminded me of another poem. I'll read it to you.
I'm so glad she's reading these poems. This is what kind of drew me to her, is her poetry. It's phenomenal. So please share with us.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
I think you'll like this one, I hope. It's called Pave a New Path and Break Society's Way. Be this way, be that way. Isn't it exhausting to be a certain way? I recently encountered a meme. The day we are born, we're stamped with a nationality, race, and religion. From the moment of conception, we're told who we are. We are the old world's imagination, manifestations derived from generations of expectations, giant stones already crushing networks of love. Yet culture happens and traditions happen for a chain to force us to relate, and those who can't are put to shame. How can this stop when love is put forth first, and we harmonize and recognize to relax, to allow is just as much of a force than intentional, purposeful force. Be unapologetically you, not seek to fit in, but to seek from where love begins. Reach out to someone when you feel in despair. As long as you don't hurt yourself or another human, who cares? And when someone has an outlash, hug them and ask them why. For all anyone has ever wanted was love, and oftentimes it comes out as a dangerous, dysfunctional expression of love.
Wow. I'm going to go ahead and get my snap on. Awesome.
I'm reading this from my book. I forgot to tell you. I illustrated and self-published this myself in 2022. And after I did it, I had gotten into a nervous breakdown where I was like, oh my God, I didn't know how to launch or anything like that, because I appreciate and I enjoy living in my poet creative brain versus like the more administrative aspect of that. But the last few years I've I like work in a field that strengthens that ability, and I think it's important especially for beings like myself to have a job and to be disciplined, but I still never stop writing or creating.
Wow, that's awesome. So I want to just ask this question, and this is something that I was just curious about. So when you are at your lowest points, um, and you don't have to be specific about what the low points um, entail, but how is it that you still find a way to smile and to be sunny and bubbly? Like, how do you where do you draw that strength from to portray to the world through your content creation, through your poetry? Where do you find the strength to still show up? Like you say I show up, so how do you still find the strength to show up for everybody who supports you or everybody who interacts with you? Where do you get that strength from?
Wow, that's a very powerful question. Thank you for asking it. I think, it wasn't overnight. Like the period where I had like a deep depression, my fiance was really concerned about me. Like whenever he would go to work, I would be in the same spot. And whenever he'd come home, I'd be in the same spot. I'd barely eat anything, or I didn't have it together, because it's like when everything's unraveling, and sometimes when you're in a low place and you don't eat properly, you're not mentally or emotionally clear-headed. But I think and it's I would have to say asking for grace and mercy. I couldn't do it on my own. It'd be a lie to say I do it on my own. But what I found is, like, when we finally face the chaos, and we begin to start trusting the universe that we're not alone, and when we start letting go of expectations on others, and when we just start serving and showing up, I also think it's the importance of like my job. It entails like discipline, it entails showing up no matter what, and so that has helped like my mental sphere, because like with our mind, we still need to navigate this world. Like we still have to communicate, we still have to go through what we need to go through. I have days where I cry a lot. I have really depressing ass poems too, but I also think that whatever energy you put out in the world, you get you kind of, it's like you're inviting it in. And I'm like, and on Instagram there's so many beautiful poets, and they beautifully express pain, and when they beautifully express pain and all of these things, it's like I've had to work so hard to become resilient within myself, because I think a lot of times too, this world is too boundaried, and it's important to have boundaries. Like I have people that I have strong boundaries with, and that's okay too. But then there are, because it's like it's necessary, it's like clinical and all of this stuff, but there are times where I think we have these expectations on people, or sometimes they have these crazy strong expectations on us, but we don't really communicate that. And I think showing up, like it's been a journey. Like I never stop practicing what I do. It consists of like eating right. It consists of filling myself up with inspiration, connecting with people like you, like it's like, and that's why I hope to find more kindred people like us, because that's what keeps us going on in our struggles. That's what keeps us inspired. And like we take that with us. Like when I have a really down day or something like that, I don't have tons of friends, but I have really good quality friends. And I still try to take responsibility where I'm not like being so heavy on them. And I think sometimes we put too much expectations or responsibility on just one person. And at the same time, I think it's important for us to do our own inner work. So it's like a combination of doing inner work and all of these different steps. But I think human communication and connection and asking for grace and mercy is where it's at, where it's like you just do your best and you just show up. And there's so much anxiety and stuff like that. There's somatic therapy to move it, to help. Like there's so many tools to help us navigate, because I think right now the world has a friend, and there are times where I don't have it in me and I've got to be carried. But it's like this past week has been like a symphony of all these things, but it's like, I promised you we're going to show up and we're going to have fun. So I'm going to do everything I can to get into that mood, to show up and for us to have food for thought, I guess. But definitely we'll have to incorporate that. But we just got to show up and do it. And sometimes it's like, man, I'm having a hard time. Like, that's where it's like to reach out for that friend, and it's like sometimes all we need is a listener. But when we start with ourselves first, then we can start experiencing more love and stuff within one another. And I think it's like I don't like to say give and take. I like give and receive. Taking is like you're intentionally grabbing and you're expecting, but receiving is what you give me, thank you. Like it's just, I think too much like this weird world has become like, let me grab that from you. Like, let me take your money. I'm giving you this. And it's like, that's exhausting. That whole thought pattern and that whole energy is really exhausting. And the entire world operates like that. It's what keeps it thriving. It keeps it going. And my mind is like that too, but it's like, that's where discernment comes from, with being like, in that question, does it bring me closer to love or does it take me away from love? And I think that's what's important, but it's like willing to put in the effort, I feel like we can't change our thought patterns or anything without grace. And that's what I love about grace and mercy. Every single religion or belief system talks about that. And I think, yes. And I've even have like friends that are atheists that are very spiritual and loving and kind, and they believe in the magic of circumstances. And like for them, sometimes I think some of them are like the coolest people when they do service for the sake of doing service, because it's like they're just serving and they're just appreciating. And I'm like more of a challenge is having been locked into a belief system where it's like, okay, if I do this, God's going to give me that. And that becomes so transactional. And so when it becomes so transactional, and like I grew up in a Hindu religion, and we have so many beautiful stories and beautiful inspiration, but growing up with struggle, we pray to our deities. I know a lot of people that have had spiritual experiences with them, but it's like, I have a poem somewhere, I can't find it, but I remember writing about whenever I prayed to them, they never showed up, or else I felt punished in a way.
Right.
And I think each person kind of goes through that, and a lot of times our prayers are transactional, and but that's not love. Love's not a transaction. Love is service. It's acceptance. It's showing up. It's showing up, and it's like being a friend. And like my 94-year-old bestie taught me how to be a friend, and I've been fortunate where he's inspired many other friends that I'm fortunate to have as friends that kind of keep me lifted. And sometimes I think, when in retrospect, if people would have showed up for me in the way I expected, if things worked out the way I wanted, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. I wouldn't have such a close spiritual relationship that I have, that just prolifically produces stuff. And it's like everyone has a mind that's nuts, that's crazy, and I found that when we don't eat well, or we don't do anything to manage our stress or anything like that, we can't show up for ourselves and others. I think a lot of times there's this talk where it's solely just showing up for ourselves. I think when we're hurt, we have a period of healing, and it's important to take the time, and I think in the Japanese culture, they have something called wabi-sabi, where they put the pieces together and they fill it with gold, like broken pieces. And so we all have those things, but as soon as we're whole a little bit and we have more strength, I think there's importance to help one another. And when we feel like we're a little low and we draw back, it's time to have our friends pour into us. It's like, I think the relationship with God is a love affair, and I think it's the same way with our friends. It's the same way with other connections. I think if it's not love, it's not it. I think so many people chase clout instead of the quality of connections. It's just I don't think so many people understand love, or they misconstrue it. I just try to stay in my own lane so my petty Betty and Judge Judy don't come out, because sometimes on Instagram, when someone talks about love wrong or whatever that my mind perceives as wrong, and I'm like, they're too harsh, they're too boundaried, and I'm like, Amee, just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling and keep finding the loving, because that's how we have to redirect ourselves. Because if we stay in pause and we keep judging, we're creating more karma and more punishment and guilt for ourselves, and we don't need to carry guilt. Everyday life is heavy enough.
Yeah, I'm telling, man, listen. I'm just blown away. This, you dropped again all these tools. I put a couple of them up there, starting with the line that you said, love is not a transaction, it's a service. And that, I love that, because when you make a transaction, you're doing something for something. So it's basically like you go to the store and you give money and you're expecting something in return. That's a transaction. But when you love, it's basically like I don't really expect anything in return for the love that I show or the love that I give. I'm basically giving it away freely because I am a servant. I am serving the people by showing love, and regardless of what all that they try to do or what have you, at the end of the day, what the world needs more of is love, and basically that love that you do without expecting anything in return. So that right there was awesome. That's actually I'm putting that in like my bank of stuff that I'm gonna start using going forward. I love that.
Aw.
And then what else was it that I put that let me see. It's just so much. You can't change your thought pattern without grace. That word grace is I'm telling you, like, just having grace and mercy for yourself and extending grace to yourself, the same grace that you often extend to other people, you have to extend to yourself. You're not going to be able to change your mind without giving yourself the grace and the autonomy to not only realize that you're not perfect, you're not always going to get it right, but also giving yourself the autonomy to make those mistakes and learn, not only make the mistakes, but learn from them and learn that through love, you can learn and you can come back from certain things that have happened, or you can come back from, spirits and bouts of depression. You can come back from those things if you give yourself that grace and you give yourself the autonomy to make the mistakes, give yourself uh, the the thought process that I am not perfect and I'm not always going to get it right, but I'm going to extend grace to myself so that way I can move on and I can move on in life. So that was awesome too. And then just the fact that you speak a lot. You've probably said that word love about 100 times on this recording, and I'm not mad at it at all, because if the world had more love, this place that we live in called Earth would be so much better if we operated in love. And I'm not talking about the if you do for me, I'll do for you type of love, because that's not love. Like you said, that's a transaction. But it's more so having a servant um, mind frame. And when we say servant, it doesn't mean that I'm a peasant and I'm below you, I'm beneath you, and I'm going to do something. But it more so just realizing that if I can do something without expecting anything in return, see, you you will be blessed if you plant seeds into the right ground, fertile ground, I like to call it. You may not necessarily get blessed where you planted the seed. I can plant a seed here in Virginia where I live, and I can go to Chicago and I can reap my harvest there. So we have to have the mind frame that when we are being servants and when we are operating in love, the fact that we are doing certain things for people, we shouldn't expect to get anything back from the place that we are planning to love, but more so realize that maybe you planning to love one place prevented something from happening to you somewhere else. Or just that's kind of like how my mind frame works. Is like I do something for somebody, I do it out of the kindness of my heart, not because I want anything in return, but more so just because that's what I feel like I'm led to do. And then I'll get it back somewhere else. And that's kind of like my mind frame. And that's what it made me think of when you were talking about like love and showing love and doing it without requesting anything in return. So thank you for, just that, the poetic um, thoughts that you have, but also the divinity of your thoughts. Again, we are of different cultures, but yet we are on the same wavelength when it comes to encouraging and motivating and uplifting people. I feel like when, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel like as a content creator, as a poet, I do poetry, but I put it to music. It's called lyrics. As people who create, like you said, we create the things with us in mind, And then we just happen to share it with others. And if they get something from it, great. But at the end of the day, it wasn't necessarily for them, it was for me. I had to encourage myself by putting words to on paper. I had to encourage myself by, writing down my thoughts, putting music behind it, or recording a video and speaking these things. It's an encouragement to me first and foremost. And then I will share it with somebody else. And, if they get something from it, great. But at the end of the day, I have to live with me first, and I have to be right within me first before I can seek out anything else and what have you. So thank you so much for just your divine wisdom, your poetic encouragement. That's actually what I titled this episode, Poetic Encouragement. And just really speaking life and speaking love, and really allowing that to shine through you, even though you have your own things that you deal with. And like you said, sometimes you cry and sometimes you're depressed, but yet you get up and you show up for yourself first and foremost. And then in showing up for yourself, you're also showing up for those that are connected to you. So that's awesome. So definitely thank you so much for your light. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And it's like, you're right about taking care of, like, so like that part about grace and mercy. And I think it's true, like your mind. Yeah, and I love what humble me type. You may not be blessed where you are, but like you plant the seed. I love that. I really love your analogies. You have really beautiful analogies. But it's like, to take it one step further than the self, it's also wondering, who am I beyond this costume, beyond my beliefs, beyond this religion. And it's like the observer. And I think the observer is, we all share that, no matter what. Like the way I see it is like, ice cream, like if it all, like, let's say it all starts with cream, but everyone with their religion, with their beliefs or all of that, it's just a different flavor. And we're trying to get back to the cream of just oneness, and I think a lot of times, like, there's like a difference with, like, there's yourself, there's your ego self, and then there's a divine self. And the divine self in this world, we identify with God or our beliefs. And it's like asking that divine mercy, that divine self, for grace and mercy. Because the ego self, it's meant to discern, it's meant to punish, it's meant to do all of these things. Like, I think in your culture or in Christianity, they call it the negative power, like the devil. In my culture, we consider it like we call it kal. Like, kal is like time. And it's like everything with the mind is sort of negative. Like it's time, and the mind and the world is meant to exist. So good will happen, bad will happen. Like even the world wars, it's so heartbreaking. But if you look through history, there's always been different countries kind of being like different teams, like just fighting and doing their thing, and it hasn't done the thing. And it's like our goal isn't necessarily to save the world, it's just doing our duty, and it's just coming back to love, and just coming back to like if someone does us wrong, or if we're really hurt or disappointed by something, usually I try to ask myself, what's my expectation around it? And usually people aren't. It's a brave question to ask, because sometimes you feel bad that I expected this or I had this, but that's sort of a part of the journey. And when we unravel that, we start seeing that we feel freer because we see that. And because like the mind, it thrives off of expectation and growing versus letting it go. And that's so hard. We all struggle with that. Like I struggle with that too, because sometimes it's like you're in a hurry and you just want it to work out and it doesn't work out, or you put your expectations like for your flight to depart on time and it doesn't. But at the same time, it's like trusting that divine self or God or the universe, like, you know, there's a reason for this. Maybe I just have to sit here and I always call it bringing my hobbies. Like I'll bring my little mini iPad everywhere I go and I'll like doodle or draw. Like I think the mind is meant to be busy. Like the reason for meditation is to, like, if we don't tell it what to do, it's going to make our lives a hell. Like it's like the devil in itself, you know? And so, but the more we fill ourselves up with love and beauty and put more attention on that, I think that's what's important.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. All right. So I know we are about an hour and a half in, so I don't want to take too much of your time. But did you have one last poem, perhaps, that you would like to share? Something to maybe be an encouragement or uplifting? Because again, I'm encouraged. So if you have something just to speak life into somebody that might be struggling right now, if you have anything that you would like to share real quick before we close out, that would be phenomenal.
You know, it's interesting because like what's trickly, like what you said in the beginning, and I thought was so touching and so sweet, was asking for grace and praying for grace. And I'm like trying to find a poem about that, but if not, should we create one on the spot? Do you want to help me create one on the spot?
You are the expert there.
I don't know if I'm the expert, but like, oh yeah, really fast. I can't believe I didn't mention this, but I don't mean to take up too much time because I know that your listeners have things to do, but like over the pandemic on Clubhouse, if you remember that social audio app.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a social audio app, and a friend of mine, I have yet to meet her in person, but she's a very good friend of mine, created this like social audio room, like be a published poet in 100 days. And none of us really knew what we were doing, but every day we would show up and share poems. And eventually we started moderating with rules, with not allowing trauma poetry or social justice poetry or anything like that, but just keeping it about love. And that hour was so magical. And we're thinking about bringing it back again on Instagram. It's called Beautiful People and Words. And when we host it, we don't record it. So whatever magic you're experiencing is just there with people taking turns. And sometimes we would do improvisational sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we would do improvisational sessions on the spot.
Okay.
And so I wonder if I could have your lead on it, even though I shared the idea. Would the audience have a prompt?
I don't know. I mean,
Humble, she's like a little chatter.
Yeah, that's my moderator. She's watching my YouTube chat. So
Aww, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm okay with it. If anybody wants to like kind of jump in and maybe throw a topic out there or anything that we're gonna allow our esteemed guest to flow on because she's so poetically divine, um, that she just, like I said, I the first time I heard, I was like, wow, who is this cute little voice? And then I actually listened to the words. And I was like, wow, this is some powerful stuff. Again, a lot of the times it's not necessarily what you say, but how you say it that that people gravitate towards. And I think the fact that the way you share your words and then also the music sometimes that you have behind it. I think you partner with somebody that like plays. I think I saw like a guitar or something like that. That it's just it all comes together just so elegantly that it like for someone who is really feeling chaotic in the moment, that it's so smoothing that it can really. I really feel like you should probably like consider doing like um audio recordings of your work. I really do. Like maybe an audio book or something like that. I think that would be phenomenal. And I don't know if that's something you've ever thought about, but I think that would be pretty cool to have like an audio version or even a podcast maybe. I don't know. But something that kind of lines up with your poetry, but then also the audio version of it would be phenomenal. And I think that's something that you should consider. Again, I can't force you to do it, but definitely
Thank
something you should
you.
consider for sure. Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you so much. That means a lot. Um, friends have been encouraging me to do it for years, and so I have something brewing. So I'm gonna read books, and I'm also gonna make downloadable coloring pages for people.
Oh wow.
But I feel like I gotta start building and making the content now and then release it in the winter because, like, I think the winter time it's more effective because we're all just everyone goes back into the shell, and right now it's summer and it's exciting and so many things happening. But thank you so much. It means a lot, and I'm so touched that I can be soothing.
Absolutely. And
Like
then
what what would you and I know it's a radio show, so you're limited to say what's happening in your life, and I respect that. But like what area would you be really touched? Like the encouragement or what you would want to hear. Like what
so that's a interesting question, and I'll preface it by saying this. A lot of the times you don't necessarily know what you need until you need it. Um, I know a lot of people. I know with me, I have had bouts and struggles with mental health, in particular anxiety. Um, and so anything that is calming and soothing to my spirit, um, I gravitate towards, which is why one of the things that I really liked about what you do is the audio or the, the actually listening to you read your poetry. So I would say for me, the thing that I always like to hear is anything that will calm someone down. Um, I know, living in this world that we live in is a lot of rah, rah, rah. People want to be in your face and they want to yell and they want to be heard. But if there is beauty in stillness and quietness, and there is beauty in, you know, being calm and being still, especially when there's so a lot of chaos and you're being pulled in so many different directions and so many things going on. So anything that is audibly soothing to my mind, my spirit, I would always gravitate towards, whether that be music, whether that be poetry, spoken word, or anything like that. If it's soothing, if it's calming, I'm with it. That's why my favorite genres of music always revolve around, even though I'm a lyricist and I rap, I always like vocalists, people that sing and people that make melodies with their words, because the way that different notes go, they come together, it suits me. So that's why I love listening to like sometimes smooth jazz or um really strong vocalists, but that not people that yell when they sing, but people that actually have a soothing voice. So those are the things that I gravitate towards, and would love to be able to have poured into me. And I'm thankful for any time I can interact with anything or any channel or anything like that that can speak to that part of my mind, and that allows me to calm down. So yeah, so to kind of sum up everything that I just said, anything that's smooth and soothing to my mind or my spirit, I'm with it.
I found a poem because I was when you're with what you were talking about, anything to soothe you, and I think love always soothes.
Absolutely.
And I see your friend Jess wrote, "Love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another." And so I have a poem in my book called "Teach Me How to Love."
Mm-hmm.
So I'll read it. Imagine like you're saying this to your divine self. Take me to the center of your love. Lure my attention into observation to connect with your expression. All to immerse myself and understand your affection. My thoughts to connect with your thoughts. Teach me how you want me to love you. Lure me with how you want to be lured. Take your hands and move my hands in directions and spaces you want me to be, to teach me the language of your love.
That's it. That's the benediction right there. Teach me how to love. Um, wow. And I think that that word love it's thrown out so much that I feel like the meaning of it has been diluted. So that's why it's important that we as people are taught how to love properly, and how to love, like you said, where it's not a transaction, but more so a service, and being a servant when it comes to love. Loving without expecting anything in return necessarily, but just love because you want to, and realizing that in doing that, you are going to get it back simply just by doing what it is that you do. So
yeah, and it's a knowing, it's not expecting you're going to get it back. And it's like, and sometimes, and you do it within your capacity. You don't force yourself. If you feel like you're forcing yourself, then you just pause and you're like, I'm not meant to do it. But then sometimes there's things that are so dutiful, like if we have to help our parents or anything like that, then, and there's stuff happening, it's just asking for grace and mercy from your divine self, and be like, I'm not doing it for them, I'm doing it for God, or I'm doing it for whatever. But you're absolutely right about just loving.
absolutely. Really quickly before we close out, you mentioned that you had a book in 2022. Is that available for consumption anywhere?
Yeah, it's available on Amazon, and if you, it's called Be in a Poet's Garden. I'm not the greatest salesperson, but
Okay.
I did. My fiance was kind enough to go through 1,000 poems, and we picked 106 of the best poems
Okay.
out of them. And I don't know who reads a poetry book front to back. I feel like they're meant to just be opened at random. So mine aren't in any particular order. But it's like the way I show up on Instagram, it's like how I've showed up in my book, that I still add color when it's gray, or
Absolutely. So
anything like that. And
say that title one, because I'm going to actually put that in the chat. It is called
Bee in a Poet's Garden.
and we find that on Amazon. I'm gonna actually type that in the chat. A Poet's Garden. Okay, got it. Oop, I think I just typed that wrong. Take that Y off at the end. But yes, Be in a Poet's Garden. Um, Available on Amazon. So Disciple Nation, go ahead and pick that up. If you are a person that likes poetry, you won't be disappointed. So definitely Disciple Nation, you know how we rock every time we have anybody on that is has something for consumption. Please, please, please go and support that work. She's not a great salesperson, she says, but I think that her rhetoric speaks for itself. I'm gonna co-sign on it, and so yes, Be in a Poet's Garden on Amazon. Thank you so much, Humble, for typing that correctly for me. So we want to go ahead and support this fine young lady and her work. Pick up a copy on Amazon. I'm gonna actually purchase one myself. Honestly.
Aw, it sent me a little screenshot or a photo of you having the book, and I'll send you handmade bookmarks.
Okay. Okay. Great. Gotcha.
Yeah, and for anyone, yeah.
Absolutely.
Um,
And also, really quick, so of course I know that you're on Instagram and I know that you're on YouTube, but my followers may not necessarily know that. So if you would just share your social media contact information, so that way if they want to follow you and be blessed with your work as I have, how can they see you?
Thank you for asking. They can see me at Amee Bee, like AMEEBEE, art poetry. My YouTube, I feel like life has been so crazy that the only thing I could manage right now is Instagram, and that's where I'm more active. But on YouTube, we'll start it eventually. But just so you're ready, YouTube is Amee, AMEE, and that like middle dash sign, and then the letter BEE. I'm like, can you believe someone took Amee Bee together? I'm like, that's my name. But it is what it is, and so
So primarily we're operating on Instagram right now. I am actually broadcasting on Instagram as well. But I will go ahead and drop that in the chat as well. So again, say your Instagram handle once
It's
again as well.
AMEEBEE art poetry.
Gotcha. All
And
right.
remember to follow Beautiful People and Words, and like send us a DM if you want to join our complimentary, it's free, poetry session to share poems. And what we did before was we all published a book together with poets around the world, and so we did it all out of service, no transaction. Everyone would just share their talents and do it. And I think it would be amazing to do more things like that with like so many people from around the world, just so we experience more love and encouragement and purpose.
Absolutely. What a wonderful place this world that we live in. More people operate in love. So absolutely. So Disciple Nation, I got her IG handle there on the screen. So please go and shut her joint down. Follow her, share her content on your stories or what have you. She certainly appreciate that. But also not only that, but just really take a moment to really kind of go through some of the things that she has on there. Awesome work, very soothing, very encouraging, and just she has a very divine presence about her work. So definitely, if you are looking for a content creator that will soothe your mind, I co-sign it. I'm not, but I also don't want you to take my word for it. Go experience it for yourself, and definitely send her a message or something and say that you connected with her based off of this recording and what have you. I'm sure she would greatly appreciate it.
Aw, thank you. Thank you. And I would also like to encourage my friends that are listening and watching to follow your Instagram and your YouTube video. Like you show up every day, and I love your witty comparisons and stuff like that. And I'm already co-signing you to join our beautiful People and Words group.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got you, sis. I'll definitely make sure that she has your info as well for sure. All right, guys, we are approaching 2 hours, so I don't want to keep our humble guests too much longer, but I do want to go ahead and wrap this on up. So I will have you to say your goodbyes to Disciple Nation if you will. Any final words real quick before we let you go?
Just thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the time of whoever's listening. And it'd be such a joy to connect with you if you share our kindred, how do we say it, like just the kindred connection, the
Kindred
kindred
soul.
vibe, right? Kindred soul. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we are going to go ahead and let our guests go, ladies and gentlemen. Want to take the time to definitely shout out Miss Amee Bee for coming on and dropping so many jewels of encouragement and light to us. Hopefully, this won't be the last time that she'll be a guest. She's always welcome to come and kick it with Disciple Nation, no pressure. And to think that before we started, she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so nervous." And look, here it is, almost 2 hours later, and we're still talking. So clearly, she got over any nerves that she was experiencing to come and kick it with Disciple Nation. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
We'll let you go. And of course, we will be supporting you on Instagram. And then whenever you get your YouTube up and going, we will support you there as well.
thank you. And anytime if you need encouragement, and if you want to play a poetry game, we could set up the improvise. We'll get some practice in beautiful People and Words first.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and let Amee go, but thank you once again, and we will let her enjoy her evening, and I'm going to go ahead and close out the show. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Wow, she's so awesome, guys. Like she just has no idea like how encouraging she is. So we definitely appreciate her. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this show up again. This was at 2 hours. I normally don't go this long, but all the jewels she was dropping, we had to take the time to allow her to flow. I feel like it was timely. I feel like so many people were encouraged by what she said. So we definitely appreciate Amee Bee for kicking it with Disciple Nation. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show, guys. Don't forget tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, I will be on Galveston Podcast right here on YouTube. So definitely come and kick it out with us on Grown Man Mondays. You guys know how I rock. At the end of every episode, we'll go ahead and offer up a prayer with the topic of discussion in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quickly, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap this song up. Most precious Heavenly Father, we thank you right now, God. We thank you for this day, this moment, this hour that we are gathered here. We pray that all that were able to intake this episode was able to receive something that resonated with them, Lord. We pray that a special prayer of comfort over anyone that is going through right now, Lord. We ask that you just intervene in the situation. We thank you in advance for what you are doing currently. We thank you for all blessings. We thank you just for allowing us to be able to freely express ourselves with your love and kindness, Lord. Help us to be more loving to one another. Help us to be of servants when it comes to love and not be transactional. Help us to realize that by love, if we love more, that we will be able to conquer all. And let us not forget to give you all glory, all honor, and all praise. In the most precious and heavenly name we pray. Amen. And amen. All right, guys, so that is my time. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Diciple Talks. Don't forget, please subscribe to my podcast on your favorite podcast network, Diciple Talks. If you're not following on my social media accounts, as you guys see the shirt, please definitely follow me on all social media accounts. Also, again, let us forget to not pray for one another is most importantly. In this crazy world that we're living in, prayer is very important. So let us continue to pray for one another. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. This is another episode of Diciple Talks. I am your gracious host, Esco the Disciple, signing off. I want to say take care. God bless. I love each and every one of you all. But remember, most importantly, God loves you more. Take care. Peace.